In the famous words of Michael Buffer, let's get ready to rumble. All right, guys, we're going to take a look at Bitcoin this morning. We're also going to look at some FX pairs. Same thing we always do. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you so much for your time. If you are new to this channel, what you will find here is I am showing you how I analyze price for the most consistent and higher probable entries to help you become better traders. If you guys can hear my voice, see my screen, let me know in the chat, pretty please, and we'll get started. All clear. Appreciate it, Ed. All right, here we go. So Bitcoin on the weekly, you can see that we took out the bullish candles low with this week's open. This occurred on Monday. Monday was a very down day for Bitcoin. It was a very important day for Bitcoin, as that was the day that you took out the 21 exponential moving average and got back below the 50 on the RSI on the daily time frame. So basically, how we look at price here at Trade Talk is we consider that to be a trap until proved otherwise. And right now, what you have is a bullish trap. So that means price was potentially going lower. So you broke out above resistance, which this would be your resistance level here. You broke out above it. Nice strong breakout there. Let me put it where it needs to be. Nice strong breakout there. And then boom, you fell right back under it on a closing basis. And then this week, you just took out that low. So that pretty much confirms for us. It doesn't confirm that that's going to be 100% what's going to happen. It just lets us know that, yeah, we're probably looking for downside continuation. All right, so basically what I have done here is, let's get rid of that. I have pulled a Fibonacci retracement tool from swing high to swing low of this week's range. Let's go over here to the daily. You can see that it's just Monday's candle. All right, and the whole weekly range is just Monday's candle. And for the last 3 days, you've just been trading sideways to up. A lot of people are getting extraordinarily bullish already, and I do not understand why. You have not shown anything bullish. In fact, these 3 candles are just inside of Monday's range, which means you are sideways, not breaking out. You do have a small, very steep trend line here that one could say, yes, we have broken out. But technically you haven't, because you haven't closed the 4 hour above that. But remember, guys, your steeper trend lines can be broken simply with sideways price. All right. So if there's like no legit breakout or legit rejection on the trend line, I wouldn't even worry about it. But right here, you can see that it is trading sideways. You are competing with a 4 hour support zone here. Nice little push higher. This is the 618 retracement of the weekly range. There are other reasons why Bitcoin is stalling out here. If I come over here to the daily chart and put a line indicating our daily demand zone, this is where we got long for the impulse move up, aiming at the yearly open. We took profits there. Then we got short here inside of this supply zone, straight down. I'm still carrying a small piece of that short position, but I am looking to add to the short. I would like to see it get a little bit higher, test an old daily support level, but right now it's struggling at an old demand. So if we were looking to be buyers on Bitcoin for this impulse leg to the upside, we would have wanted to see price hold here. Now, this is where we took our original position off of daily support, but this is your demand. So if price is going to continue here with bullish continuation, you would want to see price test demand and then start to go higher, indicating that buyers are coming in for the impulse to the upside. But that's not what we got. What we got, we broke down. Now, you also have a daily support level right here, which if you use the support, you can see that's basically keeping today's candle above it. So you've already tested it and you're bouncing, but you're just sideways on an hourly. So this very small range. But your daily demand zone right there is basically what you could say is kind of holding price. If you go into the hourly time frame, you can see it. It's like absolutely stunning. Right there is the first time that you did break above that level with an instant rejection. I would have wanted to see the low of that bullish candle get taken out. It didn't. So we're leaving it alone. It's trading sideways, closing right at that level. And then finally you got the breakout. and then you fell back down, and already you've taken out the low of the breakout candle. So it does look to me like it does maybe want to look for, a little bit more downside. This is a nice bullish pop, no doubt about it, on a small time frame. But if you look at the daily, if you look out a little bit, you will see that it is absolutely nothing in comparison what it needs to be before you can consider it bullish. And as a matter of fact, to be honest with you guys, the only way I get bullish on Bitcoin is if we get back above this swing high. That's it, right? As long as we are trading like, say, 44K and under, I am bearish on this asset. If we get back above 44K, then I will target this up here. But as long as you're underneath that, you got to look for bearish setups. Now, we've clocked a ton of profits in the last couple moves. This move right here was a fantastic one. And then obviously this move here was a fantastic one. So now we're letting price chew away or chew through the orders and suss out direction. So there's really nothing to do right now. If one wanted to take the short here, if one assumed that this is your dead cat bounce, you are going lower and it is not going higher than this point, well, watch hourly resistance. That's all I can tell you. Remember, I don't know what price is ever going to do. I'm always basically just looking at the data that we have and making my trading decisions based on that. For me to take this entry, that would destroy my cost basis, and it's not really at a place where I want to take that position. A 618 retracement of a weekly range is an absolute great spot to look for short side continuation, especially if you're fibbing a bearish candle. The problem is it's so low, right? I mean, if you look at the move, you've been like basically straight down. So since you put in, once you tested the yearly open, made a new yearly high, then you traded sideways for a long time, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days before you finally broke down on the 8th day. We took the trade on this day. But once you broke down, you only had 2 bullish days for that entire breakdown. So basically you dropped $10,000 in just the span of a couple days. So it's a big move. Big move. So what we're going to do, I would much rather to see it come up here, but we're going to watch it. If it does stall out here, then maybe I do try to bring my cost basis down. So I'm sitting on about 25% of the original position. If I were to enter a new short here with 100% of the new funds in the account, that would probably bring the cost basis down to like 43 or 44. So, I mean, technically, I still wouldn't get stopped out, but I would destroy that cost basis. The only reason I even care about that cost basis is because it looks sexy. I like math, and anytime I can add P&L, I'm happy with that. I don't really care what the original entry looks like because I have, I have proof that the entry was there. But, that it looks good, right? It looks good. So we'll watch price today. Another reason why I'm not jumping on this as a short move is simply because we're seeing a slight bit of a pullback in the dollar. Now, a pullback is to be expected, especially after you had a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 bullish days in a row. But yesterday's pullback was pretty vital. I mean, pretty brutal. You didn't take out the low of yesterday, but you have taken out that now. So, I mean, you were very close of making a bearish engulfing. I don't really put too much weight on bearish engulfings when price is bullish. However, it can be a reversal signal if it's on, like, say, a weekly time frame. Daily, not so much. I would be looking for a bullish engulfing at the bottom end of a support zone. That's the signal that I would be relying on. But nevertheless, you are pulling back here. And the way I got that level is it's just an old yearly res over here. And like you see, prices traded through and above it and around it and through it. But I mean, there's a lot of wicks that interacted with that level. So you can see one there. You can see that it held here, then it rejected, came back in for a retest there. So that's basically where, price is stumbling at. But like where it hit, there's nothing really, not on the weekly, the monthly, there's really nothing here that would have caused that wick to turn around right where it turned around. If there was a level, then, I would put a little bit more weight on it. But I guess you could say that's it right there. It's the weekly. Let me get this line over here. So I lied. Well, yesterday, to be fair, nothing touched it. It touched it last night. Boom, boom, down. But if you look at the weekly candle, you can see from the breakout candle on the weekly, this is just a very, very small pullback. Nothing to get too bearish about right now. I just would have liked to, seen it not be as brutal on the daily is all. But we'll watch to see what happens. This is the breakout candle on a daily resistance level. This is your daily resistance level that the breakout happened. So 99.24 is as low as I want to see this go. 99.24. Now, if it does continue to go down, then yes, Bitcoin is probably going to go up. If we do take out this candle's high, we will be a little bit more cautious, but we're still going to be bearish because we have two daily resistance levels above there. You got one there that I would love to get short, and you have one here that I would love to get short. These are the two areas of which I want to engage a short position at. Right here. 43,452.18 and 42,766.93. If I could get a test of that and a rejection, I would be looking for short side sets. I would reduce my cost basis down to there. I would have no problems with that. So, right now, there's just nothing bullish going on. The Fed's going to take out some liquidity, so a lot of macro guys aren't really looking for much continuation or much follow-through because some liquidity is going to be pulled out of the market, and inflation is chewing up some of it anyways. So we'll just see what happens. The markets are extremely volatile right now. You're getting big moves on, assets. If we go over here, let's look at pound yen. We were wanting to long pound yen the other day. We were looking for this to be our bullish target when we were down here on this pullback. I believe it was the day we did the live stream. You could see that it has hit targets, but it started to move during the Asian session. So we did not get to take that trade. And you can see that it is stumbling a little bit since you have liquidated that swing high. If we go over here and look at the Japanese yen index, the currency futures, there we go. You can see that the yen has already liquidated that swing low. So the yen has already liquidated that swing low, and it done it last week. Well, no, this week, Monday. And you've been trading sideways under it and treating that level as resistance for now. I assumed once this low had been liquidated, then we maybe get a relief rally on the yen. But if there is still so many retail traders trying to pick the bottom on this thing, that's going to provide fuel for the downside. And markets can keep going down longer than you can keep your position on a long position trying to pick a bottom. You do have daily divergence, but we would have known that divergence was going to happen even without the RSI, simply because you put in this low here and had a volatile pop. So any pushback lower isn't going to be as volatile as the original push. That's just the way it works. So we do have daily divergence, but divergence doesn't really matter. I was going to put out a tweet the other day about the dollar. It was about divergences because, I see a lot of that stuff posted on Twitter, 2 hour, 1 hour, 4 hour divergences and stuff like that. If you just look at the dollar RSI, you're going to find a ton of divergences on this whole entire bullish pop, right? High, lower high, and you can clearly see that price made a higher high. That's a bearish divergence, and then it stayed bullish, right? Those are stop out, stop out, stop out, stop out if you're just trying to take the entry based on divergence alone. And then here you got not a divergence. That's like one of the only times that you do in fact do it. Here, swing high on price. Right there, peak, low, higher high on price, lower high on that. Now, to be fair, this divergence signal did play out for about a week. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 bearish days. So, all right, you won one. Next divergence happened. Let's see here, right? Well, you could just count this whole move as divergent, and there's the bullish pop. So out of the dollar, you can see that divergences occasionally work. It's like every other technical analysis out there, right? It works sometimes, just not all the time. And that's why we must manage our risk. But we are pulling back on the dollar. That could help Bitcoin get a nice little pop. We did see a bullish day on the SPX yesterday as well. Excuse me. Had to get a drink of water. Let's go look at the SPX, and then there's pretty much it. Like, I haven't seen anything jumping off the page at me. I'd love for Aussie yen to go liquidate that swing high, but we'll see what happens. SPX had a nice little bullish day yesterday, but as you can see, it's still just an inside day. It's inside this candle's range, so it is choppy, range-bound price action. What might occur is you might get a test of old support, and that would also liquidate April the 12th's high, and then rejection, maybe. So watch for that. I don't want to take a short here because it does look like it's aiming for something. And the next biggest, best level, if I guess you could look at this one too. You got a lot of levels right here that could potentially be support. I would rather see this one get tested because of that wick right there. I would love to see that day get liquidated and then price to roll over, as that would stop out any shorts that took that entry. And that was a decent entry. You did take out this day's low, so kudos to anybody that shorted that. And it might still hold, right? It might still hold. SPX did get a bullish rally, and this is the first pullback that you've gotten from that bullish rally. You are bearish on the year. On 2022, you're bearish. Right there is your yearly opening range. So you are bearish. This is the first bullish pop that you've had all year. And since you just made it to above this swing high and then rolled over, it doesn't really look great. It doesn't really look great for the SPX. So I'm under the assumption that this thing is probably wanting to go lower. Let's see where we are. So you are back below the 50. That means you're going to be close to your 21 as well. Let's get it on the chart here real quick. Boom. Boom. So yeah, the 21's right there. So maybe you don't test that. Maybe you don't. I would say you probably will. So let's keep our eyes peeled. 44.79.40. If we get a test there and a failure, I will be looking for lower prices on the SPX. Simply because we're back under the 50. Is it possible that since we had this bullish pop from the 2022 decline, that the trend is changing to go back to the upside? And is this stab lower a bear trap? We will only know that if we get above this level here. If we get a daily close back above 45.02, spot 80, then we're probably going to be looking for bullish entries, because the near term will be switch back around to a little bit more bullish based on this momentum oscillator. All right. But with what's going on in the world, that's the only reason why I'm leading more credence to the bearish side of things. That rampant inflation isn't good. It's not good for anybody. So yeah, that's the reason why. Plus they weren't getting anywhere in peace talks. That's another reason things aren't looking so bullish right now. Good morning, everybody. Good mornings. Lots of good mornings. Are you coming in? Smash the like button. Don't destroy it so others can like it too. I like that. Let's get ready to rumble. Fit just by, says Ray. Good morning from the Netherlands. Good morning, my friend. All clear, loud and sound. Boom shakalaka. Good mornings. Also listed on the description below. Okay. So you wasn't talking to me. Do you think bonds sell-off will continue much longer? TLT. Yeah, I mean, I do. The thing is it is starting to get a little bit stretched. Right? It's starting to get extremely stretched out. So we do have areas that we can look for potential support. Apologies. We were watching this level to see if it wanted to hold a support. We gapped below it on the open this week. This is a weekly time frame, so there's the next level of potential support, and it does look like it's starting to find a little bit of support there. That's probably why you're seeing things bounce. like, Bitcoin and SPX, because, it's coming into resistance. But this thing is on oversold, right? I mean, you're oversold on this. We don't look to buy oversold markets because, when they're oversold and when they hit oversold regions, that's really when they can turn it on. So this thing could continue to drop, and get as low as 115 potentially on a nasty, nasty move lower. But, we'll see what happens. If it holds support here, we could potentially see a bounce up to 132.20. Yeah, that's, this big bearish candles range. So if what I'm saying is, if price does get a bounce and it does want to trade sideways to up for, a next few 3-4 weeks or whatever, and test this price where you dropped, and maybe that will be where the resistance is. So how would I trade that if I was looking to buy calls on the TLT? Well, first and foremost, I don't think I would. Well, I'm not going to, because yesterday it wasn't looking so hot. You did get a bullish push, but you're right back under. Basically, what it looks to me like is you just liquidated those 2 days as swing highs, and now you're pulling back. Or not pulling back, but continuing on the direction you were going when this was made. So, I mean, the trend is your friend until the end of the trend. You won't know if the trend is over on this thing until you get back above the 21 and above 132.38. That's in my opinion only. Sup, Heath, the thief. Thief of all the ladies' hearts. Am I right, guys? Goodness. Good morning, good morning. Can you tell me where I can find the Discord link? Bill Henson, there is a link in every single one of my videos description. It'll say for the Patreon or Discord, click that link, and it is the hedge fund tier. The hedge fund tier. What's up, guys? Just kidding. Sign up for a Patreon, link below. Yeah, okay. I signed up on YouTube. I need to sign up for the Patreon also. I mean, if one of my mods can get him that would be fantastic. Good morning. I'm not sure. Heath will let you know. Yeah. All right. So nobody's really got any questions yet. So let's go on and see what we got. We have a massive move on the USD JPY. That's basically the same thing that we looked at on the Futes. You can see that you have liquidated this swing high, and that one in the pound is the only two. Let's go look at Aussie Yen. It's still left there wide open for the taking. You're seeing a bit of a down day today, but you can see that liquidation target is still up there at 94.316. So since we missed the pound entry, we can potentially look for this to hold. So what I'm looking at for today on the Aussie Yen is, if you liquidate this swing low and start to pull back, I might look for bullish entries. But if you keep going, then I'm not. I got to wait for either a demand test or a support test. Since we made this bullish push here these last 3 days, the range of these candles are very small and they all have top wicks. So it does suggest that resistance right here is tough, right? This resistance right here is tough. That's why you're seeing a pullback. But if this low can't take out yesterday's low, then intraday, that's going to look more bullish than bearish. Let me get these moving averages out of my face. Get out my face. All right, I'm done with that. Here we go. 1 hour chart. Let's push this over into the side there. All right, so doesn't look very good, right? This is the resistance, the daily res. You can see like it's been chopping around that, just under it, and you did get a stab lower. You touched hourly support and you bounced, and it was a nice bounce indeed. All right, so boom, and then here we are right now. So it looks like people were probably trying to short this based off this support zone here, but it's because retail's trying to pick a top. We have an overall bullish target of 94.311, And let's just see how big that is from here. 89 pips. That's not a massive move, and I don't expect it to happen in one day. But if you look over here, it absolutely can. This is an hourly chart. 1, 2, 3, 4 hours. That size of a move would definitely put you up there. Yeah. So we're going to watch this little zone down here, 93,223, as well as a support price. I would absolutely love for it to test it again. If it doesn't, we'll watch this one here, right? So what I want to see is I want to start to see these support zones migrate up. And as of right now, we do kind of have that. So here's your last support zone. You came back in, tested it, closed up here instead of closing down here. So it's not a massive bounce, but it does give us a little bit of a more bullish bias intraday, simply because it's a small range day. You are red on the day. This is your open. This candle here, that's your daily open. That's why you're red on the day. But let's see if it holds support. The two levels that we're going to watch today, 93.10, 93.178. If this level holds on an hourly closing basis, I would, I don't know if you'll get a test down there. It's possible. Anything's possible. I'd like to see it hold here. Basically to say like, yeah, we're probably going to go higher. If you get an hourly close below 93.310, then we have to wait a little bit and see if it closes below this as well. Because if we do break down with a closure below that, you're at the demand. So it's one of those things, right? It's choppy. It's a small range day. It can go either direction. I feel like it wants to go higher since you have been basically trying to liquidate that high. Got a nice double top there. That's also a fantastic bullish target. Liquidity setting right above that. But since you put in this big move lower, consolidation, you traded up, made a higher low, then a new higher high. So, and that lower high is still in, or higher low is still intact. Higher low, higher low. So it's wedging up. Price is wedging up. That could, be indicative of bearish move if it breaks down, because it is an ascending wedge. But you got to break down before you can consider that move happening. What I would rather see is price spike up, liquidate that swing high. Then if it wants to do, a relief rally for like several green days on the yen, which would mean that this would be several red days in a row, then I would want to see 94,316 liquidated first. I would want to see that happen, as I would feel a lot better about, maybe potentially trying to catch a relief rally. But I'm not really expecting it because the economy and the world still sucks. Remember, the reason the yen is going down, it's not indicative of risk off, is because everything is different. I don't think there's the only country that isn't posting massive inflation is Japan. It's Japan. So, yeah, it's weird. It's very weird. It's also listed in the description below. Yeah. Okay, good morning, Carl. I'm not sure. Heath will let you know. There's an awesome Mr. West hooked you guys up with the link. Could you take a look at SHIB, my friend? Yeah, we were looking at SHIB yesterday. Let's go look at it. Do. Yeah, because of that, right? Because of that, that's why we were watching it. So same scenario, yearly open. So that this is all of 2022's price action. You did try to get up there once before, you couldn't. You did make a higher low, but yeah, these things, especially on the lows, you will get massive bounces like that. And then down trends, typically we want to look to be a seller of those pops. But the problem is it's scary to sell big green candles. I'm just kidding. Yeah, we're looking to sell it. We're looking to sell it. As long as we're below the 2022 yearly opening range, then we're bearish. Then we look for bearish entries, right? So we're going to look to see if this thing holds. You have daily res right there. That's why I got it marked up 27.44. We're going to keep an eye on that level. I don't see anything on the intraday chart that gets me all hyped up and excited to look for short entries. You're basically basing on a 4-hour support, but it's a higher 4-hour support than this one. So if I was leaning for, looking for that short entry, I would rather price be putting more weight on this level down here and not this one, because this is a higher support, right? And it could be indicative of a further breakout. You got a lot of resistance up here on 4-hour, 8-hour daily charts. I mean, there's a ton of resistance up here. Ton of resistance. So we'll see what happens. What I would probably want to see, my friend, is I would want to see this low. You see this doji candle here. Let today trade down and smoke that low. Then wait for the next day, or even the next day after that, to see if you get a wick back up to the daily resistance. All right? So you come down here, you take out that swing low, then you slowly migrate your way back up to daily res, and then boom, right there, as long as that level rejects, that's where we look to get short. So in my opinion, the trade it's just not here yet. We need a little bit more time. Because if it keeps making higher lows, then there's going to be higher probabilities of a breakout. Another thing you got to pay attention to is on the daily, that bullish candle got you back above the 50 on the RSI, which also means you're back above the 21, which is why you're finding it difficult to smoke the lows. So it's not really pretty. Nice lower push. So this is when we finally started to be bearish on this thing, and then boop, right back above. So I mean, it's not a beautiful setup, to say the least. Bullish or bearish. When you can make the case for both sides of the trade, leave it alone. Just leave it alone. I mean, if you're bullish, then you're obviously wanting support to hold. And I would watch this one first. You haven't even tested it yet since you put it in. Haven't even tested it yet. And that's another reason why I'm not extremely bearish. Taking an entry there yesterday would have been okay as long as you'd have took profits, and it's not a very big move. Not a very big move at all. So what we want to see if we're going to keep our short bias is we want to see price show us, right? Something like this. Something like that. But right now it looks like it's wanting to go up. That's just my opinion. Always my opinions, guys. So Japan has no low inflation, but still you can keep selling off. That's super weird, isn't it? It is, and the reason it's selling off is because of oil prices. So I've been told. There's something called stagflation also, and I've been told that as well. Dude, let me explain something to you guys right now. Every single macro investor that I follow they all have different opinions. Usually when all the macro guys are lined up, then you can make a pretty decent macro case. But when everybody's all over the place because they just don't know, that's why it's so difficult right now. It's not just me or people like me, it's others. Everybody. The macro guys they don't know what to expect. They can make a case for bearishness, they can make a case for bullishness. Let me explain that. The bullish cases are far less than the bearish cases, though. There's a lot more people they're bearish. So I mean, it's just one of those things. That's why I love being a day trader. I don't have to give two cares or two snots about the macro. Don't care at all. Doesn't affect my day trading at all. And I don't care if I'm bullish or bearish on any asset at all, because I don't love the asset. I love my P&L. That's what I'm trying to do. So yeah, I love Bitcoin and everything, but I don't have no problems with shorting it at all. I'll short it as long as it wants to go lower. I will stay short because I am accumulating it for the longer haul. But you can't fall in love with these things. You just got to trade them. Let them provide a signal and trade it. If there is no signal, then don't trade it. KuCoin open up 7-day promo for staking a bunch of assets for high APY, 10%, 88, 20%, DOT, 10% Luna. Yeah, I don't do that, but it's free money. It's free money. It's absolutely free money. My problem with doing that is in order to make any decent returns, which that's a nice return, don't get me wrong, 10%, 20%, those are fantastic returns for money just sitting there, not doing anything. My problem is I still don't trust KuCoin enough to put that much money over there. Simply because the U.S. government's probably trying to figure out a way to kill all offshore brokers that allow Americans to trade Bitcoin. So we'll see what happens. But if you got a lot of money and you trust KuCoin and you want to just make free money, just stake those coins at 10%, 20%. Dude, that's free money. It's free money. Yeah. Unless the asset goes down, then you're losing. Then the 10% might not cop the downside, but it's one of those things. ECB rate decision, possible volatility ahead. Yes, a lot of volatility ahead. I think that's today, so 7 o'clock. That's a little bit less than an hour from now. We'll be watching it. Let's go talk about the euro real fast, because euro, if you're new here, euro and pound are my two favorite forex pairs to trade. Pound dollar, euro dollar. Probably euro as the favorite because it's so correlated to the king dollar, right? The almighty dollar, the USD. Yeah, so that's why I trade it. I like trading the dollar. I love it. It's when it trends, right? And this thing's been trending. So I did close my short position on this last night because it's not finding the ability to continue lower. Got somewhat of a double bottom down here, so I am still bearish on the asset, and that's a beautiful bearish target, right? Beautiful bearish target. So we're going to watch for a resistance, and then I will re-enter a new short position. The reason I closed the short out is because it's not going anywhere, and there's opportunity cost to these things. If they're just trading sideways and I've already made the position so small by taking profits and the percentage of the carry is against me, then I will close the position, right? There's no point in letting funding rate destroy your P&L if it's such a small position. But it just doesn't really matter either, because you can always take a new position. I can get short right now if I want to on this. It's that simple. So, I know it's hard, to decide what you want to do with those open positions sometimes. But to me, if I'm not seeing any growth on the P&L, if it's just slightly more profit, I'll just close out the position, because there could be something getting ready to change. Was a fantastic move lower, made, pretty decent money. Let's go over here and look at it. I'll show you exactly where I shorted it. I shorted it on this day here, was the breakdown. So, boop, when we traded up into this right in here. So my short position was like 109.711. I was having a trailing stop right there, but I just went ahead and closed the position because this day here, last night we closed above resistance. So I went ahead and exited out the rest of the position. All right. I wanted to see that hold. We didn't get a hold. Now we're seeing continuation. Probably liquidate these swing highs here and then roll over. Maybe that's what price is aiming at. Maybe that's what it's doing. So we'll keep an eye on it. I don't want to take a short on it, not especially since we closed above res yesterday. So, for the daily range, looking for a long, I don't really like either, because you are weak. But that's a pretty bullish move, right? Pretty bearish move on the dollar. And it's been, down, but these last several days has been sideways. Down to sideways. So maybe these swing highs is the target. If you want to try to get long, excuse me, Expecting that, then watch support. This would have been the candle to take entry on in hindsight, but that's where I look to take entries when it happens. All right, if I'm bullish, then I'm taking entry at support. You could have entered there, there, or there. You still would not have been stopped out. You know, there's a little bit of an expansion, but you're also only aiming at the high of day for a day trade. So price gets up there, you take profits, you move your stop. Counter trend trading sucks. I hate it. I like trading with the trend because you get more continuation and the positions just work out. Right? They just work out. Fantastic move lower on Bitcoin. Nice little bullish pop. Looks like it's struggling. So maybe the dollar wants to be, a little bit weaker today. We know what we're looking for. So we could see another pop on Bitcoin, on Euro, on Pound. All these things. We could get another pop. Pound had an extraordinarily big move. ECB is on point though. So this entire move can get faded. Can get faded. So if we start to break down below support levels, even though that is a big bullish move, depending on what the ECB says, I might be looking to re-up on some shorts. If we start to trade higher today, then we're going to leave the shorts alone. Going to leave the shorts alone. Let me see if I can do something real quick. Yeah, I know the stream is almost over, but since it's almost over, I want to play around with some stuff. Let's see if that helps it. Oh, sorry, beating up the mic. Hi, Heath. Hearing some Elon Musk news regarding huge Twitter buy. Keen to check Twitter? Oh, man, that's old news, but I will look at it for you. Yeah, Elon bought a bunch of Twitter shares. 9.2% stake. I want the red one, please. Thank you. Yeah, big stake. That means he is the biggest shareholder inside of Twitter right now. And that doesn't give him, power or authority to make policy changes, but you could bet your ass they'll listen to him when he decides to make a statement, all right? If he says, hey, I think we should do this, and they just ignore him as just some dumbass rich guy, then he gets public, then they will probably, more than likely, bend to his will. Being that big of a shareholder means you got weight inside of that company. Weight. We are seeing a pullback. This was a breakout level. I think it's just the daily. It is. You do have a weekly level there as well. This is a big fat gap. Big fat gap. Although gaps do not have to fill. All right. They don't have to fill. They typically do. They typically do. So, maybe you get a gap fill. He bought a lot of shares. Is his purchase enough to keep this asset afloat? No, it's not. It's not. It is just not. Twitter's been getting absolutely wrecked when Elon stepped in and bought it. He stepped in and bought it. The guys that day traders, everybody that are speculators push this thing up. Now you're seeing it pull back. Gap fill is all the way down there. It's disgusting, right? 39.98. That's the high of day before you gapped up. That's where you got to get to fill the gap. The market might decide the gap's full here. The market might decide the gap's full there. Nobody knows where the market's gonna decide. So what you can do right now, it looks like it wants to go lower to me, just a pullback. You have switched around. You are bullish. Not really on the year though, are you? Yeah, you are. You're bullish on the year. So that move did a lot. It did a lot. Here is your yearly open right there. So that bullish, that news did a lot for Twitter. It took it out of bear market territory, put it back up into bull market territory. So, I mean, we're going to be bullish, but with that fat gap there, it's like I would like to see that fill first. Then we can look to be buyers on Twitter and, see what happens. See what happens. There's no levels to just specifically give you though. There's just nothing for me to say, watch this and watch that. So let's see what happens if it finds support here and cannot close the daily below, and then you start to see, you know, an advance. Then we'll look for a pullback day to get long. But right now there's no signal. For short entries, if you're like, hey, I want to short it because I think the gap's going to fill, you're going to watch 4701, 5-minute spike up into that, depending on where this thing is at right now. Elon's trying to buy it. Somebody just hit me up in the Discord. So maybe Elon's trying to buy more, or the whole thing. Is he trying to buy the whole thing? I haven't heard it. Elon Musk is offering to buy 100% of Twitter. Holy shit. Yeah, that's probably going to make it bounce. I don't have that. I don't have my news thing open. Yeah, I mean, if he owns the entire thing, man, then he can definitely make decisions on what it does. Wow. Elon is a very lucky man. Elon, if you are listening to this, where is my dish? Anyways, let me pull this up. Mr. Ray is blowing me up over here. Let's pull it up, Ray. So that's the Lithium Corporation. This is the one I wanted to pull up, not that. Let's get over here, do that. So I guess that's going on intraday right now on Twitter. Pre-market, you're up to 5180. 5180. That's up in here. All right, so watch this level as potential support today. Right here. So if it's get a big, it popped up to 5180 pre-market, then we could definitely look to see what happens if it gets back down to 4701. Because that's old resistance, right? A spike down into there, boom, and then higher. That's if the market likes the news. Sometimes the market likes Elon, sometimes the market doesn't. But thank you for telling me that, because I had no idea. I haven't looked at any news websites, and I do not have my news. I do not have Benzinga pulled up. I have Benzinga, I have Bloomberg, I have so many news things and I don't even use them. Just such a waste of money, in my opinion, for me, because I don't use them. Basically, I just watch what price is doing. I try not to get involved with something when it's got a lot of buzz around it, like news like that, because it's going to be extremely volatile, and extremely volatile markets don't respect levels as good as, you know, regular trading markets. But thanks for telling me that, my friend. Watch 4701. I like it. Heath, please, Nvidia and Tesla. Yeah, let's go look at it. Two of my favorite companies. I have an Nvidia video card in this computer right now. Tesla, looking like it got a nice bounce. That's a bull. Okay, so now this is a bullish engulfing. You took out yesterday's low. You took out yesterday's high, or the previous day, because that's yesterday's candle. That green candle is yesterday's candle. But yesterday made a bullish engulfing. And one could argue that you're in a bullish market because you're trading above the 50 on the RSI. So this is the type of signal I like. There's support. Bullish engulfing. So now what we'll do on Tesla is we'll change our bias back from short to long. I don't see pre-market data. Let me see if I can put it on hourly if I get it. I cannot tell if that's pre-market data. I just don't have pre-market data yet for whatever reason. It's on, so there is no blue or red line, or there's no pre-market data anywhere. It's trading right now, it looks like. No, it's not. Nope. So we'll watch that. Let's go back to the daily. We'll watch this price right here, 99764. See if that wants to give us a little bit of a bounce trade. be buying $997 calls. 2 weeks out. That's how I day trade options. 2 weeks out. That way, I don't have to sweat it so much, and I don't have to worry about time decay and none of that. $997 calls. If you if you get below that and you start closing hourlies below that, then I exit the position. Very, very welcome. Thanks for the insight. Thank you so much, my friend. Yeah, that's fantastic news. Because Elon doesn't really. He's not on the right side of the political spectrum or the left. Elon's just Elon. He's a very strange individual, very intelligent, very smart, very business savvy. Basically, everything he touches turns to gold when talking about a company. Twitter's been getting beat up since before all of this stuff started happening. Twitter's down big, you know what I mean? So maybe he can go in there and do some good. It'd be fantastic to have an edit button. I know that, so I quit deleting tweets. I delete tweets if I misspell something. Whether instead you could just go in there and edit it, that would be fantastic. And another thing that would be fantastic is be able to talk about whatever you want without getting banned. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Tesla right there, $997.64. Let's go look at Nvidia. Nvidia, not so much. Okay, not so much. Now, this doesn't look very bullish to me because you got a nice big bullish pop and then it was immediately sold right back into. You can see that we are down here at daily support at 213, and you did get that bounce yesterday. So I would potentially be looking at 225.37 or 231.19 for potential resistance. Hourly close above this level, then it's probably going higher. And I don't like to short straight when price is down into support like this. But a pop up there would be a nice little pop. If it wants to hold, then we'll watch that. The only reason is because it's old support, right? So price gets back up there and it wants to treat old support as new resistance. We look for a trade, and we'll only be targeting like this level down here. So it looks okay as far as for a trade if it respects those two levels, 231.19. I wish I had pre-market data on. I just don't have Thinkorswim loaded up yet. I don't load it up because I'm still gun shy from the last PC I own. This PC can handle it. It's a monster. I just don't do it. Let's see here. Elons of Mars. Yeah, right. Exactly. Nvidia into its weekly expected move. I got long bounce scalp on it. Yeah. Okay, so that that does change everything. If it hit its weekly expected move to the downside, then that's why you've seen a bounce yesterday and probably going to see another bounce. Doesn't mean it will, no, but that's where the option market's priced it. So if it's priced it there, there's a reason for it. There is a reason for it. Let me go back up just real quick. That's less than 1% profit though. I don't know what you're talking about. And to be honest with you, back to the block, if you can do 1% per day, you're going to be a very rich person. 1% per day. I know people think that they can hit 1,000% returns every single day. It's just not going to happen. To be honest with you, 1% per day is very, very difficult to achieve. It is possible. It's just difficult. Because that 1% per day, if you do that on average, that means you're going to be 3xing your account every year. A 3x on an account every year is a phenomenal return. And that's on just 1% per day. 1% per day. You see massive, massive returns. So don't get too mean on the 1%ers, because I'm telling you, those are nice little wins. Nice little wins. Atom, 20%. Let's go look at Atom. Atom is another one that I am going to buy. And then we'll wrap it up since nobody else has any new. I don't know what you're talking about. Oh, I got okay, I got you what you're saying. Yeah, all right. Perfect. I got you. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, right? If you're going to buy it, stake it, you're going to lose money on the value if the asset declines. And then yeah, you're not going to be making a whole lot of money. But some people do it because they expect the asset to be worth more than it is over time. And that's the perfect way to, if you stake it, then yeah, not only do you make money on the price going up, you also make money on the stake position. It's just a way to entice investors to get on board with their exchange. That's all it is. So if you, like, say for instance, if you got just a ton of money on the sidelines, putting it to work, making small interest rates, it's a fantastic way to make money. But it would be a lot nicer if we knew that we were at the lows, at the bear market lows. If we were, then yeah, definitely would love to stake something like Atom. But this thing's been holding its gains pretty good, right? I mean, before the bull started, this thing was trading at a couple bucks, and it's been trading inside of a bigger range from $20 to $40. That's a big range. That's 100% range. From 20 to 40, that's doubling your money. So, I mean, I'd like to buy it. I think 20 bucks is a good price to buy it, but I'm not buying it as a trade. I think I'll just buy some just to hold it. If it keeps going lower, I'll just keep adding to the position because I think this asset will be worth 100 bucks. I've done a little bit of looking into it, and I think it'll be worth $100 one day. Maybe 60, 80 bucks. I can see it definitely hitting that. I just don't think it's going to do it this year, but anything can happen. I mean, look at Luna. Luna's making all-time highs and Bitcoin's off 50%. So, I mean, these things can move. And they are getting a lot more viability to them because, just look at the assets price chart. This thing it's only been bullish. There's your weekly. Luna's pretty much only been bullish since May 2020, March 2020. It's only been bullish. Fantastic returns. This thing was trading at 15 cents in May of 2020, and it hit 120 bucks. That's insane. Phenomenal returns, and it still looks bullish to me. I mean, you're still bullish on the weekly. The daily you broke down, right? The daily you finally broke down. But you also did over here too. Found a low and made a new all-time high. The way it's coming off pretty violently, though, this could be the top for a while on Luna. We'll see. We'll see. All right, guys, I'm going to have to wrap it up because I still don't have nothing to trade yet this morning myself. You guys have a fantastic day. If you have any questions about anything I discussed, as always, you can drop it down in the comments section. Sorry, I was reading something. You can drop it down in the comment section as I always answer or try to answer everybody. You guys make sure you trade safe. Make sure you trade smart. And as always, happy trading, everybody.